Hey, what's up, Angels fans, and welcome back to Angels Latest, the show where we talk Halos baseball the same way we do with our buddies. We're a little hopeful, a little frustrated, but we're always locked in and we're always believing there's brighter days coming at the Big A. And look, it's the holiday season. So while most people are putting together a Christmas list full of gadgets, toys, and gift cards, our list as Angels fans is pretty simple: pitching, pitching, and more pitching. That's the number one gift we're all hoping that shows up under the Angels tree this winter. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the pitchers who could be those presents we're waiting for. The big names, reclamation projects, high risks, and high reward arms. So let's get into it as we're starting with one of the most intriguing arms on the free agent market. He's a guy with elite stuff, a roller coaster injury history, and a potential comeback story just waiting to happen. We're starting with the guy who might be one of the most intriguing pitchers on the free agent market this offseason. And yeah, he's a former Dodger, a pitcher with elite raw stuff, a roller coaster injury history, and a comeback story that feels like it's just waiting to happen. So let's talk about Dustin May. And for those of you who forgot about him or don't know about the name, Dustin May was born Dustin Jake May. He's 28 years old, right-handed pitcher out of Justin, Texas. He was drafted in the third round of the 2016 MLB draft by the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he made his MLB debut on August 2nd, 2019. He quickly earned attention across baseball as one of the most electric young arms in the sport. They called him Big Red, and he became known for a fastball in the upper 90s, a sinker with ridiculous arm side run, a sweeper/slider with elite horizontal movement, ground ball dominance, strikeout potential. He looked like a future ace, but then the injuries came. And let's talk about the injury history, which is the central chapter of his story. Dustin May's biggest obstacle has never been stuff. It's been, well, health. And here's the breakdown. In 2021, he had Tommy John surgery, UCL reconstruction. In 2023, there was a follow-up elbow injury on the repaired ligament. It was the flexor tendon issues preceding the surgery. And then in 2024, he missed the entire season after suffering a torn esophagus during a freak choking accident. Yeah, it was on some lettuce from a salad. Multiple shutdowns, setbacks, limited development time, and what should have been his prime years were created. Durability is the number one question teams are evaluating for May. In the 2025 season, it was his first real return, and finally he got back on the mound for an extended stretch, splitting the year between the Dodgers and the Red Sox. And his 2025 season line looked like this: 132.1 innings pitched, 123 strikeouts, a 496 earned run average, a 142 walks and hits per innings pitched, 25 appearances, 23 starts. Those numbers show flashes of his old dominance mixed with inconsistency and command issues that come with long layoffs. But the stuff, it remained elite. His career totals through 2025 across the 6 MLB seasons: 324 innings pitched, 297 strikeouts, an earned run average of 3.86, and a 120 walks and hits per inning pitched whip. He was 19-20 with his record, and even with limited total innings, those career numbers showed a pitcher who, when healthy, pitches like a top-end arm. Now, looking at his advanced metrics, the stuff that he still plays, even after surgeries, Dustin May's arsenal remains legitimate. He has the velocity, the sinker at approximately 95 miles per hour, a four-seam fastball that touches 98 to 99 miles per hour on the radar gun, a cutter at 91 miles per hour. He has that sweeper slider that comes in approximately 85 to 86 miles per hour. Talk about spin rates. The guy has an amazing spin rate when it comes to the fastball, the four-seamer, 2,307 RPMs. The sweeper spin rate, 3,109 RPM movement. That's elite movement. When you talk about the sweeper, the horizontal movement is about approximately 20 inches. The movement profile of his sinker, approximately 18 plus inches of run in. The sweeper, an elite sweeper, it's been categorized. The fastball is strong. It's rising life in the upper zone. And even coming off the surgery, May's movement numbers are among the best in baseball. So here's how he attacks the hitters. He really mixes in the sinker approximately 33% of the time, the four-seam fastball, the cutter, the sweeper slider, and the occasional changeup. Now, his post-injury, the sweeper became his most effective bat-missing pitch. And here are the highs and lows about Dustin May when we talk about the highs. When he's healthy, he looks like the number 1 or number 2 starter. And before his elbow setback in early 2023, he had an earned run average of 2.63 and allowed 0.94 walks and hits per innings pitched. He had over 9 starts, and that's top 10 pitcher production right there. Now we take a look at the lows. He only had 324 innings in 6 seasons, never thrown more than 140 innings in a season. And in 2025, there was inconsistency. He had a 4.96 ERA, a 1.42 whip. There were command issues, durability concerns from multiple surgeries, and really question marks about workload sustainability. With Dustin May, the range of outcomes is wide. Now, let's take a look and see as a contract expectations as a free agent on the low end. We're looking at maybe 1 year at $7 to $9 million with heavy incentives, kind of a prove-it contract. Most likely, though, he could gain 2 years at $24 to $26 million and roughly $12 to $13 million average annual value. Possibly with, the club vesting options. On the high end, if multiple bids, he can get 2 years at $28 to $30 million. But the risks are priced into the contract. However, if Dustin May is a good fit for the Angels, that's the big question. And yeah, basically he is. And here's why. The Angels need upside pitching, and May brings something the Angels desperately lack, and that's a real ceiling. He is one of the only mid-tier free agent arms with true number 2 potential. He also will fit in the rotation. You could immediately slot him near the top of the staff. Again, if not 1, 2. And Anaheim is the right environment for a comeback. It's not overwhelming as far as media pressure, no daily scrutiny like Boston or New York or even the Dodgers. It's perfect for rebuilding his confidence, his command, the rhythm, consistency. And of course, you can't overlook Mike Maddox now, the perfect pitching coach for May. Maddox is a master at rebuilding mechanics, sharpening the command, teaching pitch sequencing, maximizing high stuff pitchers, helping the potential become the production. You see, the equation of Mike Maddox plus Dustin May could be a career-saving combination. And also there's that SoCal familiarity. He's already spent his entire career in SoCal. Returning home makes sense. So, why wouldn't he be a good fit? Well, there is that heavy injury history, and the Angels have too many pitchers with durability questions. May cannot be the only move. There must be more than one piece of the multi-arm rebuild. This is not the centerpiece. And there's always the risk of regression or re-injury. 2 elbow surgeries complicate his long-term outlook. But what does he add to the Angels? Number 1, strikeout ability. His sweeper, his fastball, the combo there still misses bats at a high rate. He also has a different pitching profile. Movement-heavy pitchers are rare for the Angels, and he brings a dynamic-looking, approach to the staff that currently lacks it. He also will have a spark of identity. May's energy, the swagger, the presence will bring confidence into a rotation that's lacked fire. He's got the mid-budget upside. He adds legitimate impact without requiring a $150 to $200 million commitment. Now the question is, will Artie Moreno pull the trigger? And that's the question. Historically, Moreno loves the name recognition, the upside plays, the local and regional familiarity, the PR-friendly signings, the comeback narratives, and Dustin May checks every one of those boxes. Now, it's estimated that Artie will approve this signage between 55 to 60%, and why he would say yes, again, affordable compared to big market arms, high upsides, the Maddox influence, the local connection to SoCal, and the energizing of the fan base. I mean, he fits the reclamation mold that Artie loves. And yeah, Artie might say no because of the injury history risk and may not trust the durability of him, the preference for more stable innings eaters. But overall, the Angels are very much in the running. So here's my final thought on Dustin May. He's one of the most compelling upside players on the market, a high risk, high reward pitcher who may be the perfect fit for Anaheim. He gets a fresh start. The Angels get a potential number 2 starter. Mike Maddox gets a special project, and the contract will not break the bank. If the Angels want multiple pitchers this winter, Dustin May should absolutely be one of them. All right, Angels fans, we stay in familiar territory with another former Dodger, another high upside arm, and another pitcher with a serious comeback story. But this one comes with a championship pedigree and one of the best postseason resumes of this generation. So let's dive into Walker Buehler. Everyone say Buehler? Buehler? We'll talk about Walker Buehler's background, his profile. Walker Anthony Buehler. I knew I liked the guy's name for some reason. That Anthony in the middle just makes it shine. He's a 31-year-old right-handed pitcher out of Lexington, Kentucky. He was drafted 24th overall in the first round of the 2015 MLB draft by the Dodgers, and he made his MLB debut on September 7th, 2017. He became the Dodgers' big game starter. He's a fiery competitor, a power pitcher with elite command, a postseason monster, and a World Series champion in 2020. When he's healthy, Buehler is one of the most competitive pitchers in baseball. That's the exact mentality the Angels have been missing. All right, let's talk about his injury history. That's the chapter that changed really everything for Buehler. It's defined by 2 things: dominance and Tommy John surgeries. 2 of them. Here's the full breakdown on it. In 2015, the first Tommy John surgery for the UCL reconstruction. Then in 2022, with the elbow flexor strain, required second Tommy John surgery later that year. In 2023, attempted the late season return, but was shut down due to arm fatigue. And then in 2024, full season comeback, but on a workload limit. The velocity dips and the command is inconsistency in the early recovery. But despite this, he finished the 2024-2025 season stretch healthy, which is the biggest positive sign entering free agency. So how did he look in the 2025 season? Well, he showed flashes of his old self. His 2025 season looked like this. It lined up with 151.2 innings pitched, a 3.81 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP. He had 167 strikeouts, 31 walks, and his win-loss record was 10-8 and with 29 starts. I mean, that's really a strong line for a pitcher coming off his second TJ surgery. I mean, he's not the elite Buehler, but real quality number 2 starter, that's him. So let's take a look at his career totals through 2025. In the MLB, he had 746.1 innings pitched, 834 strikeouts, a 3.19 ERA, and a 1.06 WHIP. His win-loss record overall, 58-32 on 146 starts. I mean, this resume is better than most free agent pitchers on the market right now. The postseason resume is a huge Angel selling point. Walker Buehler is one of the best postseason pitchers of his generation. His career postseason stats: a 2.94 ERA, a .90 WHIP, a 101 strikeouts in 79.2 innings pitched. And do we mention a World Series champion in 2020? He has pitched and dominated on the biggest stage in baseball. That is the kind of fire the Angels have lacked for over a decade. Now, looking at some of his advanced metrics, they're still strong. His velo for the four-seam fastball, 95 to 97 miles per hour. The cutter, approximately 90 miles an hour. The slider at 86 to 88 miles an hour. The knuckle curve, 82 miles per hour. The sinker at 94 miles per hour. Velocity has fully returned to his pre-surgery levels, but it's close enough and trending upward. Let's look at his spin rates, the RPMs on the ball. The four-seam fastball, 2,407 RPMs. The cutter at approximately 2,650 RPMs. The curveball, 2,950 RPMs, which is elite spin rates for the curveball. His curveball remains one of the highest spin-breaking balls in baseball. Now, looking at his pitch mix, the full arsenal, Walker Buehler has one of the deepest pitch mixes of any pitcher on the market. We have the four-seam fastball, the cutter, the slider, the knuckle curve, the sinker, and the occasional changeup. This variety, it makes him incredibly tough to game plan against. Now, here's some of the highs and lows, the range of his outcomes. The high, at this peak, Buehler was a legitimate ace, a top 10 pitcher in MLB, a postseason demon, a fiery competitor with elite stuff. Now, here's the low side of Buehler. Coming off 2 Tommy John surgeries, velocity inconsistencies, limited workload early in his comeback, of course, the risks of re-injury, and not quite the 2019-2021 version of himself yet. But the highs, they're higher than 95% of the free agent pitching market. So what kind of contract expectations can we see? Well, Buehler's market is going to be definitely stronger than Dustin May's, but still within Angels' range. I mean, on the low end, he'll for a one-year contract, $18 to $20 million with heavy incentives. Again, the prove it or reset value year. And most likely the ideal contract we'll see will be 2 years, $40 to $44 million total, which basically is roughly 20 to 22 million average annual value. I mean, there'll definitely be a player option or mutual option possible. Now, the high-end outcome, he can land a 3-year, $60 to $66 million contract if bidding wars develop. And is Walker Buehler a good fit for the Angels? 100% heck yeah. And here's why. Because, number one, the Angels need a leader in the rotation. Buehler is vocal, fiery, and emotional, a spark plug who elevates teammates. And the Angels have lacked that edge. Second one is playoff mentality. If you ever want to win in October, you need guys who can pitch in October. And Buehler has World Series experience, postseason dominance, big game DNA. And he fits the rotation. I mean, he fits in at day one. He becomes the ace instantly. And fourth, in Southern California, there's familiarity. Buehler spent his entire MLB career in LA. Anaheim is a perfect landing spot for comfort and familiarity. And the fifth reason, of course, the Mike Maddox factor. Mike Maddox thrives with competitors, multi-pitching arsenals, high IQ pitchers, veterans returning from injury. Buehler checks all the boxes. Now, here's why he may not be a fit. Well, first off is the price tag. If it could reach 20 plus million average annual value in it, Artie Moreno just might hesitate at that number. The second thing is the double Tommy John history. There's the long-term risk, and it's real. The third thing is he may prefer a contender. And if Buehler wants an immediate World Series shot, the Angels may fall behind what others offer. But with the moves they could make and show Buehler, we're serious, you could lead us the way, Buehler could be a taker. So what would he add to the Angels? Well, that ace mentality, he brings the fire, the swagger, and postseason confidence. He also brings a true number one starter, something the Angels haven't had since peak Jared Weaver or Shohei Ohtani's 2021-2022 run. He also brings experience under pressure. I mean, you can't teach big game guts, and Buehler, he has it. And a stabilizing competitive identity. He changes the entire tone of the pitching staff. So again, the big question is, will Artie Moreno pull the trigger? Well, again, that's where it gets interesting. Artie historically loves past stars, name recognition, big resume players, proven winners, pitchers with a national profile, and Walker Buehler fits that to a T. The estimated probability that Artie signs Buehler, though, is 40 to 50% probability, and he might say yes because, the ace level upside, the World Series pedigree. You can market Walker Buehler. Perfect fit with Maddox, and he's already comfortable in Southern California. Now, reasons for Artie to say no again: the cost, the double Tommy John risk. The Angels might prioritize cheaper arms, but the Angels are in conversation. So, my final verdict on Walker Buehler is he's a competitor, he's a leader, he's a winner, and exactly the kind of identity changing pitchers the Angels have lacked for years. If the Angels want to add an ace without giving out a $200 million contract, this is the move. Pairing Walker Buehler with Mike Maddox could be one of the most impactful combinations of the entire season, or offseason rather. And pairing him with Dustin May, that's a legitimate reboot of the Angels rotation. All right, Angels fans, and now we're talking about a big name reliever. Closing time. And he made a real impact for the Angels this past season, and another former Dodgers legend, a likely future Hall of Famer, and someone the Angels could realistically bring back again. So let's break down Kenley Jansen. So Kenley Jansen is born out of Williamstad, Curacao. He's 38 years old and one of the greatest closers in modern baseball. He originally signed by the Dodgers as a catcher. Yeah, he converted to a pitcher and never looked back. Looking at his career highlights, a 4-time All-Star, 2-time NL Reliever of the Year, and over 400 career saves, among top all-time. In 2010 through 2021 with the Dodgers, he was there and spent time with the Braves as well, then the Red Sox, before signing with the Angels in 2025. His story is unbelievable. His longevity is rare, and his cutter, still one of baseball's most famous pitches. Time with the Angels through the 2025 season, he signed the one-year, $10 million contract with the Halos, and he immediately stabilized the bullpen, finishing the season with 29 saves in 30 opportunities, with a 2.59 ERA late in the year, strong command, veteran leadership, and a true closer presence the Angels desperately needed. He also publicly stated that he plans to play 4 more seasons and not retire. And that sets the stage for the 2026 free agency. In a Sports Illustrated report, the Angels are interested in a reunion with him. They found key insights from a trusted Angels insider that said that the Angels could bring back all-star reliever Kenley Jansen in what would be a big free agent move. I mean, the article emphasized that the Angels bullpen was one of the worst in baseball in 2025, and Jansen was one of the only reliable relievers. Bringing him back makes logistical and logical baseball sense. Both sides are open to a reunion, and the Angels need leadership at the back end of the game. And the price tag is reasonable compared to elite closers. And this is important because Jansen is not a long shot. He is a realistic, viable, possible Angel signing. When you look at the advanced metrics, I mean, he's still elite in key areas. Velocity with 92.8 miles per hour on his cutter, 93.2 mile per hour on his sinker, an 84 mile per hour slider, an 82 mile per hour sweeper. And you look at the spin rates, the RPMs, the cutter has an 82% active spin, which is above the league average. His sinker is at a 96% active spin, which is excellent movement. His sweeper with a 44% spin with big horizontal breaks. I mean, the swing and miss metrics is 13.1% swinging strikeout rate. He has an 8.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. He has a 2.9 walks per 9 innings rate. And despite losing some velocity with age, his movement and command keeps him effective. Now, when we take a look at Jansen's toolbox, he uses the cutter, which is the signature pitch for him. the sinker, the slider, the sweeper, and his cutter is still good enough to jam hitters and induce weak contact. His sinker gives him a different look against lefties and righties, and his slider sweeper combo helps him strike out and get, the batters out. The highs and lows of his career, the highs were a dominant closer for nearly a decade, multiple 40-plus save seasons. He has elite postseason performance. He's top of the MLB leaderboards in saves and has historic strikeout to walk command in his prime. Now, here are some of the cons. He is 38 years old, and he did have past heart-related health scare. The velocity is in a decline, increased reliance on movement over velocity, and reliever volatility. One bad month can change the whole season. But even with the lows, he remains one of the better veteran closers in baseball. And the question is he a good fit for the 2026 Angels? And the answer, yes, for many reasons. Immediate bullpen stability. The Angels blew too many late game leads, and Jansen fixes that problem on day one. He has that veteran leadership. Young pitchers need the mentors, and Jansen brings professionalism and experience the bullpen lacks. He also has that Southern California comfort. He spent his entire career in LA. He likes the area. He's comfortable here, and he fits here. And he wants to keep pitching. He's not signing for a farewell tour. He wants to compete. He also has the culture impact. This team needs accountability in the bullpen, and Jansen is a tone setter. Here's why he might not be a fit, though, for the Angels. Again, the age risk at 38 years old, it's always a gamble. The declining velocity, as he relies on command and deception more than the raw, powerful stuff now. And the Angels need multiple relievers. He's not a one-man solution. Re-signing Jansen only works if the Angels add additional arms. So what does he add to the Angels? Well, he's a true ninth-inning answer, and no more closer by committee, and no more uncertainty. Jansen locks down saves. He also brings comfort and familiarity. He thrived in Southern California, first with the Dodgers and now with the Angels. And he's a mentor to young relievers. The Angels bullpen, it lacks a veteran anchor. Jansen becomes that guy. And he's a strong clubhouse presence. He's respected across baseball. He's a true pro. So what contract expectations can we see based on the market models? Well, on the low end, 1 year, $6 to $8 million with incentives based on saves and appearances. Most likely deal could happen would be 1 year, $8 to $12 million with possible club option for 2027. Now, looking at a high-end deal, he would probably pull in 2 years at $18 to $20 million if a multi-year market develops for a closer with his pedigree. And that's very affordable. So will Artie pull the trigger? Well, the probability is high, maybe 60 to 70%. And here's why, because when Artie says yes, Jansen will bring the name recognition, proven all-star pedigree, affordable contract, stabilizes a historically unstable bullpen, PR win with the fans, SoCal familiarity, logical baseball move, and fits perfectly under new pitching coach Mike Maddox. And here's why Artie might hesitate. Again, the age. He might prefer younger and cheaper arms and could prioritize rotation over bullpen. But overall, this is one of the most realistic moves the Angels can make this offseason. Now, here's my final verdict on Kenley Jansen. He is absolutely a legitimate re-signing target for the Angels and one of the smartest bullpen moves they can make. Jansen brings stability, leadership, confidence, experience, a proven ninth-inning track record, and the Angels need multiple pitchers this offseason, and bringing back Jansen should be high on the list. All right, Angels fans, let's get into the next big topic, and this one is big because it's something that comes up in every conversation, every comment section, every Angels latest stream, and every group chat. Here's the question. Can Angels fans actually force Artie Moreno to sell the team? And we're going to break it down honestly. Here's, talk about what's myth, what's reality, and what it could actually take for the Angels to get a new owner. All right, so let's first talk about why the Angel fans are so fed up. So let's start off there. I mean, for the last decade, Angels fans have been living through nearly 10 straight losing seasons. The wasted prime of Mike Trout, losing Shohei Ohtani for nothing, questionable free agent choices, no postseason appearances since 2014, a farm system that's been inconsistent, revolving door of managers, coaches, and GMs, and ownership philosophy that feels stuck in neutral. So when the fans chant, sell the team, it's coming from a place of exhaustion. They want change, they want vision, they want hope again, and they believe new ownership could provide that. So the question is, has Artie Moreno ever actually considered selling the team? And yes, and that's important. Back in 2022 and 2023, Artie Moreno formally put the Angels up for sale, and he ran a full process. Multiple groups submitted their bids, and then suddenly, he backed it out. He said he had unfinished business, and he believed he was still the right person to lead the franchise. So, more recently, reports from Angels insiders suggest that Moreno is not planning to sell in the immediate future. He may wait until after the next MLB collective bargaining agreement in 2026. He wants to see how MLB's economic models change. He still believes he can turn the team around. So, right now, a sale is not likely unless he decides he's done. So, let's talk about how does an MLB team sale actually work? And let's break it down in simple terms. If an owner wants to sell a franchise, first step is the owner finds a buyer or group, usually billionaires or investment groups or even corporate partners. The second step is MLB conducts a full investigation into the financial background, funding sources, criminal and legal history, suitability to join ownership, and long-term viability. MLB takes this very seriously. Now, the third step is once vetted, the sale goes to a vote. And then that's where the fourth step comes in with the vote. We need 23 out of 30 owners, which is a 75% supermajority, that must approve the sale. And if they do, ta-da, new owner. If they don't, the deal dies. So notice what's not included in the process: fan petitions, social media pressure, protests, stadium attendance numbers. Those factors can influence an owner emotionally, but they play zero in the legal role in forcing a sale. So, can fans force out an owner? And in short answer and simple, no. And it's not legally and not structurally, and not in baseball, not in any major American sports league. Fans cannot vote out an owner. Now, fans cannot even trigger a removal. Fans cannot petition MLB to fire an owner. Sports law professionals are extremely clear on this. Fans have no direct authority or mechanisms to force the sale of a team. That's just how franchise ownership works. Now, fans can influence, but they cannot enforce. So, can the MLB force Artie Moreno to sell? And technically, yes. But realistically, almost certainly no. MLB owners can push another owner out only under extreme circumstances, and that is criminal behavior, severe misconduct, racism or discrimination, kind of Donald Sterling NBA situation, and major scandals that damage the entire league, a financial collapse, and actually none of these apply to Artie Moreno. Bad baseball decisions, no postseason success, losing records, none of those are grounds for forced removal. I mean, if that were enough, gosh, the Oakland A's would have gone through 5 owners by now. So the league is stepping in is basically not a real scenario. So the question is, what can fans actually do? And even though fans cannot force a sale, we can actually influence one over time. And here's the real pressure points. First one is attendance. Empty ballparks hurt revenue and send a clear message. Second one is TV ratings. Lower viewership affects advertising and broadcast leverage. Third one is sponsorship pressure. If major sponsors or marketing partners get uncomfortable, that changes the math. The other fourth item is public relations heat, national media coverage, local media criticism, constant online sentiment. These things matter to an owner's pride and legacy. And the fifth item is stadium politics. If a city doesn't support renovation, development, or extensions, it can be harder to maintain long-term plans. In combination, those forces can make owning a team much less enjoyable. Some owners eventually say, I've had enough. But again, that's their choice, not a forced removal. So here's a reality check. What would it take for Artie to sell? And here's the truth. For Artie Moreno to sell the Angels, 3 things must happen. 1. Artie must decide he's done. Owning a team is emotional. Owners sell when they're tired. They feel pressure, they stop having fun, and they want an exit strategy. Also, their legacy feels tarnished. And there's also financial incentives that become attractive. The second one is a qualified buyer must step up. Teams cost billions. Buyers are rare. The third thing, MLB owners must approve. As we said, 23 out of 30. If they vote yes, the sale becomes official, and that's it. There's no backdoor path. There is no fan-driven mechanisms. So what does this mean for us Angels fans? Well, it means we're not powerless, but we don't have direct control either. I mean, we can influence attendance, noise, pressure, narrative, perception, but we cannot legally remove or force out an owner. So the Angels' reality right now is Artie Moreno owns the team until he decides not to. Could that day come? Sure, absolutely. Owners sell all the time once they reach that point. But is it imminent? Not based on what insiders are reporting. So what's the final verdict on can fans force a sale? Well, we talked about it, and of course the short answer is no. But fans can create an environment that encourages a sale over time. Well, that path to new ownership looks like this. Artie chooses to sell, a buyer steps up, MLB approves it, and until then, as frustrating as it may be, the Angels operate under Artie Moreno's ownership. Whether the Angels make smart moves in the free agency market, signing pitchers like Dustin May, Walker Buehler, or bringing back Kenley Jansen, that's all happening within the world where Artie is still running the show. All right, Angels fans, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Angels Latest. Thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the show, and being part of this growing community. Every like, every comment, every share, it really does mean the world to me, and it helps this show reach more fans who bleed red just like we do. All right, I want to thank you again so very much. And let's just recap what we covered today. It was a lot. From the upside and risk of Dustin May, to the fire and postseason pedigree of Walker Buehler, to whether the Angels should bring back Kenley Jansen. And of course, the big question that fans everywhere keep bringing up. Can Artie Moreno really be pressured and sell the team? Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Would you take a chance on Dustin May's upside? Do you think Walker Buehler is the ace this rotation needs? And if you had a choice between one or the other, would it be Buehler or May? Also, should the Angels bring back Kenley Jansen as the veteran closer? And where do you stand on the whole sell the team conversation? Do you think Artie ever steps away? Or is he here for the long haul? Let me know below. And, it takes fuel from you to get this show moving and burning, and I'll feature some of your comments in the next episode. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, comment your thoughts, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update as we follow every trade rumor, free agent move, and every storyline shaping the Angels this offseason. All right, I'm Anthony, and this is Angels Latest. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, go Halos!